Hello everyone, welcome back to Black Moon Coven. So today's video we are actually going to be making Banishment Powder. We made some Banishment oil earlier on this channel and everyone loved it, so we're going to make the powdered version. Now, what to do with the powder after it's finished? You could dust candles with it, you could put it into spell sachets, you can literally dust it on someone's doorstep if you want them to kind of back off. It's a really great powder. It's very versatile for multiple spells, multiple situations. So here we go. What do you need to make it? You're going to need your dragon blood incense cones, just like in the banishment oil. Now, I found these at Walmart, 94 cents for 40 cones. Definitely a good deal, 94 cents for those. We're gonna be using only a couple, maybe even just one. So 94 cents is a really good deal. You're gonna need some thyme. You're gonna need chili powder, black salt. So I already have some made. If you don't have some made, it's really simple. Salt and a charcoal tablet. That's really all you need. If you want me to do a video on that, you could comment below, hey, I want a black salt video, and I'll see that and I will know that, we need to make a video on this. It's very versatile as well for curses and different other spell work. Rosemary, black pepper, your jar, of course, a cauldron, petition paper, because we're going to be burning some. We're going to be using our cemetery leaves again. So again, before you go and just go grab some leaves from the cemetery, be mindful of the superstitions, be mindful of the spirits there. If you want a step-by-step kind of guidebook of how I work in the cemetery, check me out on Pagan and Witches and Amino. I did a whole blog post on working in the graveyard. So other than that, you're going to need a mortar and pestle for grinding, a bowl, a spoon, a piece of paper just to kind of slide the powders in and out of, and I have my own secret ingredients. Now, a lot of witches won't be able to get this because it only grows in certain areas, but this is called smartweed, okay, and I use this a lot in my spiritual magical working. Why? Because it grows basically everywhere, around me that is. It grows, it's so abundant, it's crazy. This herb is really great for protection, for banishment, for basically anything. It is like the rosemary of the Midwest. You do have to get yourself some smartweed if you live around this area. Now, there are many different types of smartweed, so look that up as well. As you can see, it's kind of pink with these really nice angled leaves. However, once it starts to go, and this is kind of lost its luster. It shows up really pink on the camera, but it's actually not as pink, it's kind of whitish. That's because it's late in the season for smartweed. You kind of want to harvest them at the late springtime to the early midsummer. It's a little too late now, it's kind of drying up. But anyways, what I do is I always harvest a bundle because I make a cleansing stick out of it, and I dry up the seeds and I pulverize them into a powder. Now, this powder I only use in very specific powders, oils, stuff like that. So I'm going to be using it in the banishment powder, but only a little tiny bit, because to get just this much, this whole little bottle was full, to get only this much, there's a lot of smartweed that goes into it. So this is all I have for the season, so I really don't want to waste it all. So what you're going to do first is grind up your dragon's blood. So we're going to use 2 cones. So just 2 cones, not 3, 2. So we have 2 cones, and then again, you're just going to kind of pulverize them. They're kind of very hard to break open, but once you have them break open, it's kind of like a charcoal tablet. Once you have it broken open, it's very easy to pulverize. Now again, this adds power to the spell, to the powder, to the spell work, to whatever you're doing. However, it does smell nice too, so it also adds that element. You have that nice smelling powder, and it has this nice brick red color, so it's really great for other things too. I love using dragon's blood. That's the incense that's going right now, is dragon's blood. I always have a lot of dragon's blood on hand. So you're going to crunch it up into a very fine powder because all of our other ingredients are basically really crunched up already into powder form. So you're going to add that to the mixing bowl. I like using a mixing bowl. I don't like to put it straight into the jar because then I could see all of my things are proportioned properly. I'm just that type of person. So if it doesn't matter to you, it doesn't matter, but it matters to me. So we're gonna put in some rosemary, about a teaspoon. And we're going to grind that up too. Now rosemary does take a little bit of time just because it's a dry herb and it has these little spindles on it. It's kind of like little pine needles or so. So I switched mortar and pestle because this one's just better for herbs. I think it's just the way it's kind of shaped. I think it's just better for herbs. Found this on Amazon. I think it looked really cute and kind of like Polishy, so I got it. So there we go. It grinded it up in like less than 30 seconds. I'm gonna put it in there. So the next stuff we're going to put in is our black pepper. And we're gonna do about a tablespoon of that. So be very careful because, you know, these powders could get up in the air and that's kind of annoying. So next we're gonna do our chili powder. Really common ingredient in banishing stuff. And our black salt. I'm only adding about a teaspoon of each, and you'll see that it's going to be a very small amount of banishment powder. But that's just because I like to make powders a lot, so I only make a small amount and then I keep adding to it. Our cemetery leaves we're going to add into our mortar and pestle, although if they are dry enough, you really don't need to, but we will grind them up. Now with these like special ingredients, you don't have to do a whole teaspoon if you are short on something. I'm going to do about 3 leaves. That should yield me about a teaspoon, but we will see. It'll probably just be easier to crunch it up with your hands. So you're just going to add those in. Remove the little hairs from the leaves because, you know, the little vines, then they're going to be a little bit more chunkier. So. Okay. Next is our thyme. I only have so much time left. The herb thyme. I only have so much time, so I'm going to kind of pour in the loose parts first, the bottom of the jar type of things. And then I'm just going to take the little leaves off of the stems of the leaves. Okay. Definitely make sure you have a paper underneath you because it does get pretty messy. Okay, there we go. Now, if you are interested in learning how to make smartweed powder, I do have a blog post about smartweed, but not how to make this though. I can do it in a video. There's still some smartweed out there, and I could possibly swing it for this season if you guys want me to make a video. So this, I'm only going to add just a bit because, again, I only have a little bit of this for the season, and I don't want to take it all. So be very careful as well because this herb, once dried, once pulverized, it can irritate the skin. So just be very, very careful with that. So next we're just going to mix it all up. And if there are some bigger parts, like the leaf parts, you guys want to just take those out because you want it to be as powdery as you can. So I have some big leaf stems in there. So once you're mixing it around, you will be able to see them. And you just pick them out. So it becomes more of a powder form. Okay. So the last part, and probably the most fun part, I think I got all the ingredients, yep, is the petition paper. So we take our petition paper. Now this part's optional, however, I like to do that for my spell jars, for my powders, because it kind of just adds more of an intent. So upon the petition paper, just write something like, I banish you, or I banish thee, I banish whatever I'm working on, but I just usually write, I banish thee, and this is my will, so shall it be. Because that, like I said in my spell jar video, is kind of like a final saying. It's like the period. It's like amen type of thing. Like, this is my will, so shall it be. It's kind of like a so mote it be. It's kind of like a command. I would call it a command. So I banish this, I banish thee, this is my will, so shall it be. Now I also have a banishment schedule, and I'm going to draw that here. You guys can make your own. I will show it though. So it's pretty simple, but that's what I have. Now I reuse sigils a lot. I know people don't like to. I do it anyways. So we're gonna do that. And we're going to burn our petition here. So while that is burning, we're just gonna kind of clean everything up together, put it together, and get our jar ready. Okay, so that is burning up, and as you can see, this is like a powdered form. There's not a lot of big pieces in here anymore, and if there is, you can just pick them out, like these thyme pieces or these big leaf stems. You could pick that out. So we're just gonna wait for that to reduce to ash. You wanna grab a metal spoon, and I kind of just put that into my powder. Make sure you get it all. Make sure you be careful with your cauldron. Sometimes it gets really hot when you're burning stuff. Make sure it's burnt down all the way too. You don't want to bury any embers into your powder, and then you're just mixing that in. Okay, so our banishment powder is all completed. So what we're going to do now is open up our jar, and you could do this with a spoon, you could do it with a paper, but I'm just going to spoon it in there so you can see the beautiful colors and how powdery it is. Now, not all powders have to be pulverized powders. So when I mean pulverized, I mean this, okay? This is a really, really even pulverized powder. This does have some chunkiness to it, some substance to it, just because that's kind of how I like to do things. However, it's totally up to you. Now, I like making powders because it kind of saves time, especially when it comes to associations with spell work. So if you want to do a banishment spell really fast, then you go grab your banishment powder, roll it in a black candle, set it aflame, do your petition paper, whatever you want to do. Now, this is a very small amount of banishment powder. Like I said, I like making powders a lot, so I will be adding more and more stuff to it. So on the label, just put banishment powder, put the date on there so you know what day you made it. And yeah, that's basically it. So I'm going to clean up, but while I do that, you guys go and subscribe to my channel, Follow me on all of my social media, and especially my blogs on Pagan Witches Amino. They have been awesome lately, so definitely go check me out there. I'm also starting a new blog, like a personal blog. I will be doing that. It's just been crazy here, so I will be doing that as well. And yeah, until next time, have a beautiful rest of your day.